well wishes from Atom to get the game underway. Both teams know what's on the line here. They get to stay here for the weekend or they go home. Tim, playoffs awaits for the winner. For the other, a flight home tomorrow morning. A pretty somber affair for one of them, and the answer to that question stands on the other side of this series. Monty, our first ban, actually our most banned operator so far at SI, Tim. 57% has been banned away.
Yeah, the power of the shields is still there, isn't it? It's a tough one to deal with, the Monty. We've seen some powerful players, powerful plants, using him to create space and everything else. So they're going to have to live without that. We're going to see Blitz go as well. So we'll probably see some Blackbeard play in reality. But at the end of the day, you can only do what you can do. I think Blackbeard, looking at that lineup, you kind of then think he's going to be that ban in the fourth round. Don't look at this and necessarily think as well, OXG aren't bringing Blackbeard, why would you ban him out? Because you get all the mind games coming into this, so OXG might choose not to play Blackbeard for the first 3 rounds, thinking, well, let's not encourage the ban, and if they don't ban him in the fourth, then we're going to play him 4, 5 and 6. So you kind of got all these like games within games to play, really, when it comes to the bans. Castle and Mirror along with that for the defender bans. Castle often used around kind of cigar shop, areas like that to keep that safe, keep it locked up, and just prevent people from being able to get that line of sight from the windows and whatnot. So that's all going to be available. It's going to be more difficult to play in that kind of area. And Mirror as well, super powerful.
Kicking things off at the top floor, Tim. Your least favourite site on the map. Yay, you can hear the enthusiasm bleeding out of his lips there, Tim. Why did you hate the top floor so much?
It's not that I hate it. It's just I don't understand why it's always first pick. Leave it.
No, go again. 3rd time, 4th time, 5th time, 6th, 7th. He's honest, mate. He's all over it.
He really is, isn't it? 2, I'm just looking for that opener there. No, got the DMR in hand. He'd have done some serious damage even at that sort of range, but couldn't catch his man, so still 5v5. Straight away, OXG heading up to the roof as we would expect. A couple of things that might happen here from OXG as attackers. You've generally got either an east-sided approach. Well, it tends to be a bit hybrid. If it's east-sided, then there tends to be a little bit of piano pressure as well. Or you just get everybody going piano and red stairs drop and trying to get control of that and move across. Relays is currently playing in the pixel spot, so he's going to be the main one to try and hold them back out of piano.
Absolutely. Okay, you see how it builds up over time as well. There was quite a bit of discourse yesterday about who the IGL is for OXG. It is Yogg. We've gone and checked with the team, which surprised many people because Yogg infamously is a very, very quiet player. Many thought it might be Forest stepping up or Gomez, and apparently Forest is helping out a little bit with that side of things, but it is Yogg that has got that primary responsibility. Try and turn their fortunes around. He's going to have to really pull it out the bag during the series. We'll see how things build up. For now, they've got themselves a pretty good start in the round. Then they've got top red. They've got themselves a little bit of attention inside the piano. With still more than half the round to play, a few of those members on Enterprise have been pushed back. And very commonly, we see this line sort of form on the top 4 of Cafe, where from the bottom left corner of your screen up towards the top right, you can imagine the front line being there, and the players tend to be on either side of that respective boundary that gets drawn out. And so far, that is how things have shaped up. But look underneath, we've got Bappen on the Mozzie. Of course, no C4 in back pocket for this round, instead rocking the EMPs, the impacts. They've got 6 of those, or did have to start the round out. Gomez to get the first kill. Player falls to the floor.
So Oxygen are starting to make good progress here, I was going to say. Gomez manages to find 2, and Yogg will find that kill. Needs to be careful because Forest is up on that heaven window, the cocktail balcony. He's up there just trying to hold that line of sight down. Gomez gets taken out after 2 kills to level things out at 3-3. But Oxygen have got some good control here. They've got Grixer inside a piano, Atom inside a shop, and then they've got Forest over, as I say, on that cocktail balcony window. So he's going to be looking to just hold down any movement beyond that. But they could do with another kill, really. Relays is the problem at the minute. He's playing an angle through from kind of the lumber area, so they need to really be aware of this and don't give him anything.
Oh, well, Atom has
That's the one they need.
Yeah, they've got the key man they need, which now means they can march on into bar itself. Relays the main man here, who they don't yet know about. Is tucked in, waiting to see a gun step up, but no. Not quite seeing his man just yet. It's a matter of pixels, and he loses out to Forest. That's heartbreaking. Could have been a big moment for him, but Relays couldn't quite find the shot in time. And Forest collects the last 2 to give OXG round number 1.
That timing is heartbreaking for Relays. He pops up, he kind of looks right, and he goes left. He pops up, he stays down. He goes like, just everywhere that he looked was where OXG were not. and he ends up losing his life. 1-0 Oxygen. That was a good start from them. Really good attack. They got themselves confidently into Piano and Cigar very quickly. I like the little rotate from Forest round onto the cocktail balcony window. It should prove very valuable at the end as well. Everything was there really, ticking boxes. Everything they needed to do. Dealt with the Mozzie underneath as well. Good stuff.
You watch a lot of American sports, don't you, Tim?
Yeah.
Sorry, replying while you're holding down the mute button.
Yeah,
That's genius. Do they often say like 1-0? So I heard you say it then the thought.
1-0.
I say 1-0 feels like a very football thing, like soccer thing.
Nil is a British thing. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is it reply though, or like in Australia? Now, we might have to have some Aussie fans in for Enterprise. So maybe they can tell me. Do they say it in Australia
maybe
as well? I'm very curious to know, like how global the word nil is in talking sports.
America,
scores.
it's generally 0. Yeah, 1-0.
5 seconds left before insertion.
I do want to find out.
I think so, at least. Anyway,
If worst comes to worst, I'll ask our fellow Aussie casters backstage afterwards.
But I couldn't tell you about the Aussies.
Fair enough. All right, down to the basement, down to the ground floor. We go for kitchen. So right to the opposite end of the map, this box that is cafe. It's going to see how Oxygen can attack in towards it, because for Enterprise, by the looks of it, they've got quite an extended hold coming out towards that first floor. No one's really stepped up to the second floor at this point, Tim, so no vertical coming in for them. Everyone playing down on this first floor. And looking to basically force OXG to have to go through a little bit of a labyrinth of a setup in terms of players, in terms of utility and reinforcements, you name it. And it looks to be that we've got 3 if not 4 players, potentially, or 5 here, all assembling together on towards the bakery side for Oxygen.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be kind of a head-to-head brute force push here. Try and get inside a bakery, as you say. Not really much opportunity for Oxygen to use any verticality, no ram, no sledge, no soft breach charges. So they're pretty much just going to have to go in through the fire and flames. Yogg does not want to waste that smoke time. He wants to make sure that he's getting his money's worth out of it with the glass scope. They're not in the corner, Yogg. He thinks they are, but they've not. They've managed to wriggle away instead. They are exactly where he's looking now, in behind those units. But player is just going to stay down on the ground for the time being. He's not going to give them anything.
No, I mean, that's like you say, there's kind of the most utility being burnt out. They've got 1 smoke left in back pocket with Grixer. The problem is, Tim, as we've seen so often, trying to force everything in from one direction normally ends up going a little bit sour. 1 C4 can end everything, although that said, OXG have found 2 kills to get the opening up. The glass finally traded back out, but I feel like a lot of the utility sat in back pocket for OXG has been expended here, Tim. Inside the first 90 seconds, they're a little bit limited on where to go from here.
Fisher manages to pick up Atom. Gomez is going to take some damage in that Toxic Babe as well, but does manage to move in still through it and get that kill, the trade onto Fisher Guy, leaving them now 3 versus 2. Just having a look if there's an opportunity maybe for Grixer to get in here and think about putting the diffuser down, but Bappen at the minute is currently causing a bit of an issue for them. He's just playing in behind that reinforcement and using those little peak holes that he's made to challenge through onto the breach.
Keep on picking up kills is the most important part, and Two Hands the one who's got a real nice long range here. A couple more shots from Bap, and then probably would have seen Forrest go down. His hands had that nade in his hands, so he had nothing else he could do. He couldn't shoot back. Unfortunate not to get the kill, but that could be the golden opportunity that they need. In towards Prep they step, and Oxygen starting their march on in. Forrest getting another. Seems to be quite clinical in these closing round situations, Tim.
Two Hands' movement could be smart here. If they're not aware of his position, he could come out. They've got the hole that looks through into sight at bottom red stairs, so he could actually swing across here and get a line onto this plant. It is possible, but Forrest might just hear him move because he's got to take the vault. You see, he comes across. He's going to look for the challenge. Can't find it. Grix is there ready. I like the idea from Two Hands. I like the attempt. It was always going to be a tough one. Didn't work out for him, and it's another round for OXG.
Also one of those where Grixer, in the moment, you probably look at it and say, just stick the diffuser, man. But it's a different story if he gets down while he's holding F and the timer's at 0. So making the call off the back of the information coming in from Forrest to come off the diffuser and then take the gunfight and win it is a good bit of team play and discipline being shown by OXG at the very end. Up 2-0 on the attack. It is not the dream start for Enterprise, unfortunately, Tim.
No, it's not exactly what they were looking for. Getting a few rounds on the Defence Cafe would, definitely be a big positive for them. They're going to move on to Reading Room now, so it's going to be that mid-floor again. I would expect from both sides to see a little bit more vertical play this time around. I would expect to see OXG trying to take control of the top floor. We can see the Enterprise are playing into top floor. They've got themselves set up there this time. So OXG can't really ignore it, because otherwise anywhere that they try to plant, they're just going to find that it gets prevented from above. So Definitely need to be thinking about that. They don't necessarily, I was going to say, they've got the RAM. They don't necessarily need like a lot of vertical destruction. It's more about clearing these players out and preventing them from staying up there.
Well, there may be a little bit of concern, I think, is for Enterprise. I've just gone back and checked some stats for Cafe. They're currently on a 5-loss streak on this map, Tim. Not beating a team internationally. They only managed to beat True Synergy Gaming on this map about 6 months ago, and that was inside of their respective region. So, quite a big asset to overcome OXG here, who have got an okay record on it, 2 and 3 over the last 6 months. It's not exactly a love map of theirs, but one that they'll go to when required. And I'd say so far, performing pretty well on it. Is it absolutely perfect and flawless? No. But is it enough to get the rounds over the line they've had so far? Absolutely.
Brix is thinking about going up onto the rappel on the windows. Forest is in and around. Forest is actually going in for a plant here. He's gone straight into reading room, or he's trying to at least, but it's not really paid off. I just saw him sprint on the top then, sprinting in through reading room towards that door. I thought, they're definitely going for it. They've managed to recover the diffuser here. Grix has got it in hand, but still 3v4. It's all sort of falling apart here. Bappen manages to pick up his 3rd of the round. That's going to be 1 versus 4 now. And in a matter of seconds, really. We're a minute 12 into the round, and it's pretty much over.
Yeah, honestly massive from Bappen as well. He was sat upstairs at the very start of this, and all the kind of chaos kicked off, managed to deal with all the fire that was spreading around from Gomez, and has come out with a 3K in the round. So really good position, played it incredibly well. And at the same time, we had that little exchange going on the snow door itself. But as much as OXG have tried to brute force their way into him, didn't really try and take too much map control. They are paying the price for it. And that's why we've now got Gomez all alone off towards red, trying to find 1, his way across the diffuser, and 2, his way in towards site.
I'm not sure who Gomez is pinging for there.
Himself, mate. Just remind himself. He's got short-term memory loss.
He's just pinged out the location. Well, I'm not sure you need that one. He's just going to, see what presents itself. He's got a minute left on the clock. Maybe he gets the opportunity. Somebody sticks the face into his ADS and he can bring a 1v4 to a 1v3. Everything that you can get is going to make it a little bit more doable, but that's certainly not going to help. Chip damage does manage to take down Bappen eventually, but Relays is there with a nice spray through the wall, and that's going to be Enterprise claiming their first round. It's 2-1.
I mean, come on, man. It's like round 1, mate. You've just won 1 round, fella.
You've only got the 1.
Even Bappen's at it in chat, L beta. Come on, lads. You've won a single round. Come on.
It's kind of like, though.
It's the mental, it's the mind game.
It's the mental game, but it's... and I'm not saying this isn't the case. This is not a slight on Enterprise, but it's the 0 and 5 guy at the bottom of the table. GG easy, innit? And you're just like, you don't want to get angry at it. But
this is you in ranks.
It is, and I'm that guy. I know my role for the team, and that's getting under the skin of the other team. 0 5, yeah, GG, nice round. And it's just like nothing tilts somebody more than that. It's like getting your first round and going absolutely in. There's always that chance that they're just going to be like, what?
So, I used to play a lot of League of Legends many years ago, and the most tilting thing is when someone would, hard in, just completely feed the enemy team, give them all the gold, and give them all the reason to win. You would then win, and you'd absolutely sweat your nuts off for half an hour to win this game, and then at the end they just go, GG, easy game. Or, there'd be a mid lane player, and they'd just be like, mid diff. It's like, you were not the diff! You made this so hard for us!
So I'm here for it. If they want to get a little bit loud after the first round, you know what, boys? You play for the vibes. You hype it up, and
if it gets you the win, I don't give a shit.
That's what I mean. And also that's it as a team. If that kind of hypes you up and gets you into things, then go for it. Whatever. Atom does take a little bit of damage there. Bappen just sending an SMG shot down in that direction. The thing is, it's one shot headshot. If he catches him a little bit higher, bang, you've just lost the player. But
you've got to get on the mental game now and get an old chat and be like L spawn peak. Just get in there. Come on, lads.
Got to be mixing it up.
It would be class. It would be class. But no, he's definitely busy out there on the Vigil. One of the only players I've actually seen running around with the K1A, not instead trying to run around with the Boss G, as pretty much every Vigil has done at this tournament so far, and then turn towards the secondary to be their more close range engagement weapon, should we say.
Shotgun at the ready. Just desperate to get out of that window, I think. Relays is just there waiting. He's watching. He's not going to get anything, so he needs to keep himself where he is. He's actually going to have to move away now because that wall is getting opened up. So time to go. He does exactly that. Gets himself out of dodge, and that is now Piano available for Oxygen to take just as soon as they want to. They can get themselves in there, get into top red, move through to Cigar. Everything is laid before them.
It is, and look at this, Bappen ratting down out towards Bakery. Is he thinking about a run out? He's got those EMPs, don't forget, as well. I keep calling them EMPs. He's got the impacts. Sorry, it's an I, not an E, Derry. Come on now. He's got the impacts available, so can, of course, blow out that double door and just charge straight out there and potentially catch a couple of them that are sat off on the rappel. Of course, the longer he leaves it, the less chance it's got to do with that now. And now that we're 90 seconds in, I imagine that window is slowly starting to close. Gomez, though, starting things out. Down goes Relays, who's hanging around upstairs. A great C4 from Fisher Guy from downstairs. Finds at least one back. Things staying even, so as much as OXG are finding a good start in a lot of these rounds, Tim, Enterprise aren't exactly backing down from the challenge. They're always trying to find their ones and get trades in.
And they have done so far, 4 versus 4. A minute left in the round. Looks like Enterprise maybe just needed a couple of rounds to get themselves kind of warmed up into this one and wake things up. They're certainly seeming a little bit more active at the moment. Oxygen have stalled out a little bit. They've recovered the diffuser now, but they're kind of no further than they were before. They're in Cigar shot. That's a second Nitro there player this time. He's going to pick one up with the weapon as well. A trade onto Atom, who managed to get Fisher Guy. 2 versus 3. Grixer, Yoga continuing to try and do some work here, but Yoga's going to take some damage from in behind the counter there. And honestly, I think Oxygen struggled to break this down.
Ooh, he's tucked in so tight here, player. I don't know if they know that he's still here. Hasn't yet exposed himself, has to be super careful. But if he holds the spot for long enough, he can be the X factor in this round for them. One more tucked inside of Freezer as the 2 boys now start working their way down white. Wappen finds one, is traded out straight after. Player, of course, off towards his right-hand side, but 2 hands up close. And Enterprise get round 4.
I leveled it up then, 2-2. Maybe it's just the energy they need. They got the first round, they went big, they've got the second round, there you go. They've leveled it, like I said, maybe they just came into the game a little bit slow over those first 2, but OXG, they need to have a look at what's going on there because, you know, they were very much gifted Piano and Cigar. They were not too much of a problem there. They were controller shot, underneath New Hatch, into Piano. They didn't really use a lot of it, so they didn't really push, you know, into Pixel Corner, take bathroom, clear white stairs, you know, put some additional pressure on to Enterprise. The only pressure that they had outside of that area that they were pushing through shop was Forest on the cocktail balcony window. And that's exactly the same as they did in round 1. An Enterprise, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame. They're not going to be fooled twice. Not going to be shame on Enterprise. So they were ready for it. They knew what was going to happen. They put a Nitro onto the window. Bang, Forest is gone. Job done. Great use of utility, by the way, from Enterprise in that round as well. Bringing Nitros and getting 2 kills with them. It's fantastic. You're not putting yourself at any risk usually going for it again. Bappen's absolutely gagging for a peek.
Oh, he's this guy on your team in rank that like just keeps on going for the spawn pits. You know, please stop, mate. Just play a little bit sensibly. Just wait a little bit. And he's gagging.
I'd let Bappen.
I'd let Bappen spawn peak for me. I'd actually back him.
I'd be like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Mate, you do that. You would absolutely shag my gold rank matches. Don't worry about it.
Echo drone is going to be used outside. No, it's not.
Oh, get it out there. Don't half measure it.
Well, you get a good 10 seconds. You know, you can kind of drive it out there, see what you've got, see where the repels are coming, which side they're going to be pushing from, and just give yourself that little bit of intel. I like this from Enterprise. They're a little bit more widespread on their hold this time. Bappen and Tuhan up on the top floor. Last time we saw that they were all down in the ground floor around site. So I like this from them, that they're just getting out there a little bit, mixing it up, wasting a little bit of time.
And that's the game plan, right? If you can slow them down, just kind of disrupt them before they can get to their point of execute, then you're doing well. Because looking at the OXG lineup, Tim, it is about the execute. They've got the shield, no doubt, for Forest. You've, of course, got those Sense light screens and a couple of smokes and flashes you can play behind at the same time. Everything screams you want to have all 5 alive and then look for an execute. If you as Enterprise can take out a player or 2 from that lineup before they get there, you leave them a little bit short on certain areas on the map, and that weakens the power of the execute overall. Oh, Bappen, he's punched it at the wrong time. To be thought, haha, a small hole in the wall. No, it's a whole painting falling down.
Atom's going to get him. No, he didn't need to. As it is, Forest manages to get Tuan anyway, but Tuan did pick up Gomez along the way, so that's not too bad at all. But it was really nice play because Atom had picked up Bappen in reading and he was coming through to bottom white stairs, so Tuan was going absolutely nowhere. If he'd have tried to run away from that fight, Atom would definitely have picked up the kill and finished that off. So as we stand now, everybody on the defensive side for Enterprise is down on the ground floor. Oxygen are in control of the rest of the map. They're going to start fusing the site. They're going to start getting the hatch that will detonate in just a second when that Zoto canister wears off. As always, we ask the big question of how will they deal with Fisher Guy. It's always the Tubarão and it's always in VIP. He's going to keep that hatch closed for as long as he can, but he's also there to challenge. We saw actually a great clutch earlier. I think it was in the SSG game. So Nitro comes out from that position in VIP, downs the player. I want to say Dots. I could be completely wrong with that, but I think it was Dots who got it. And then he comes in, finishes the kill, goes in, stops the plant going down. It was just really nice and showed the power of that VIP position, so they need to clear that out.
There we go. Nade is certainly one way to do it, though. They're rushing with the shield,
Brilliant.
and they've got him sorted.
Brilliant.
Yogg's got that one answered. Not a problem, Tim. They're in a 4v2, but time waits for no one. There's only 15 seconds left. A few shots through onto them, and he could have seen so many kills coming in. It could have been the same there for relays, but a bit too much to do when all of OXG are stacked up together. They get themselves back on the board after 2 rounds without finding a win.
Yeah, it just shows how important that VIP position is. You saw that. It's like breaking the seal. As soon as that player's gone, it's just an absolute onslaught from there. So OXG really put the foot on the gas there, ran through the rest of the round, got it done. 3-2 they find themselves now, the NA team in the lead. Just a reminder for everybody, the stakes are high in this one. Winner stays in, loser goes home.
They do. It's definitely stayed a bit neck and neck so far, but again, I can't ignore the fact that OXG has started on the attacking side here. We were speaking about this a little bit earlier on. The record for Enterprise on this map, it ain't good. They're on a 5-loss streak. Oxygen could be on the path to add a 6 to that unfortunate tally, or unless they can turn it around themselves and show what they can do on the attack, maybe we'll get a little bit of transformation in terms of fortunes, but OXG probably are likely to be no slouches on defending this map themselves. Let's get into reading and fireplace then, Tim, for what is going to be the last round of this half. Then we'll do the side swap thing, and we'll see how things play out. Enterprise leaning really heavily into their utility or information comp here. Got the Pulse, got the Valkyrie. That is a lot of knowledge of what's going on around the map, and this is what OXG needs to be mindful of now, is where those players are sat, where the black eye cams are going down. They haven't got the IQ on side, so really more going to have to rely on a bit of innate map knowledge on what teams tend to do with the Valkyrie in order to spot those out before they become too much of a problem for those C4s that will inevitably head their way.
I feel like OXG really need this map. Obviously both teams need 2 maps as quickly as they can. But the reason that I say that is that the next map is Chalet, and that's a 2nd preference map for Enterprise. It is a 9th preference. It is the last choice for OXG. And they don't win there very often, I'm going to say that. They really could do with getting this done, because otherwise they really could be staring down the barrel of a 2-0. I think in reality, there's a good chance that we head towards Fortress, and then it's kind of anybody's, who knows. OXG have played it, they've lost it once, but other than that, it's just going to be kind of who can figure out that map the quickest, really. But for time being, let's focus back onto Cafe. We're going to be in reading room again for the final defense here from Enterprise before the side switch. Player is going to pick up Forest, and that leaves us now in a 5 versus 4. A great start for Enterprise in this round, and I tell you what, Des, a 3-3 half for them wouldn't be terrible.
It wouldn't, no. And to be fair for player, he's the one who's got the 2 entries in this half for his team. Otherwise, it's been all up OXG. This is what I was on about with these black eye cameras early on, though, Tim. No IQ on side. They're not looking to identify them. You can disable them temporarily with the Dockerby call, which we're now seeing coming out, but they're still going to be there afterwards, Tim. They're still going to feed that information that can help the defenders hold on that little bit more.
Just going searching here is Atom. He knows that there's somebody around there. It's definitely time to get out of danger. Fisher Guy's just going to go straight over the top rope, down the stairs, and heads back towards site. So that gives top floor control over to Oxygen now. Too easy. Sees his man. Yoga picks him up. That's 2 and gone. Leaves us 4 versus 4. Levels things up. There's only a minute left on the clock. Diffuser is in a good position. It's just been left outside of reading door. So that would scream to us that that's going to be where the attempt attempted plant will be going down. I say that it's been, I don't know if it's been purposefully left there, but Yoga's collected it, I think it was. But yeah, they're going to look to plant just inside that door. But the problem with that is Bappen and Relays that are playing around Pillar.
I've really got to see player get something with the C4. It's coming out now and he's tossing it skywards, but he's finding no one. Both C4s used, no players found with all this information. Frankly, that's criminal, Tim. You can't be getting away with that, I think. But OXG holding somewhat of a good opportunity here to get this over the line as Yog's in a great spot, gets a second, marches on 4, gets pillar control. They haven't got deep control, Tim, but I don't think they need it because there's nothing to stop them planting here.
No, that's it. As soon as this smoke dissipates, Yog could arguably go in and plant. That's what he's going to try and do. I'm just not sure with having lost that player whether they're going to have enough cover or not. Just gets the time for the plant to go down, but they see Atom drop the hatch. Might have been better trying to hold from above. Now he's got himself in a 1v2, and they can just push him on opposite sides. That is a big moment for Atom, managing to drop the pulse, leaving himself 1v1. Oh! He hears him coming. Beautiful double from Atom, and that's going to close out another round for OXG. A decent start on the attack for them.
Okay, it's such a strange round because there was so much set up there for Enterprise to come out on top. They had the 2 C4s, the Pulse, the Valkyrie, and I thought, great, this is cool. When they're up above and they lose control, C4s galore, boys. Even Impacts in back pocket can do a bit of work for you. But neither connected, and they didn't capitalize on the info they had. There were no attempted flanks, for example. No C4s heading skywards. It's a real shame because if Bappen had got there even, you know, a quarter of a second sooner, fair chance they stop that diffuser going down, and that's a very winnable round for them. Now they've got a mountain to climb, Tim. They're on the attacking side. They're at 2 and 4. This is a tall ask for Enterprise, I'm afraid.
Yes, I agree. I think it's going to be a struggle for them from here. They've been very competitive so far within this. I'm interested to see these first couple of attacks. I get a feeling that Oxygen, being that it's their map pick, could really start just locking this down a little bit. You know, we know that they're going to struggle more on Chalet in the second map. So let's see what Enterprise can do, though, to break them down. So we're heading into round 7. We've got our bands come through. Monty, Grim, Azami, Mira, all pretty standard. But what does that mean? It means, for starters, Enterprise should be able to get into piano and cocktail area, piano and cigar area pretty quickly when they're attacking up onto that top floor. Hallelujah! We've got a team who haven't picked top floor as their #1 choice, and I am excited about it. Reading is going to be the choice for Oxygen. So, but without the Mirror and Azami, maybe they just choose not to go to top floor at all. I mean, you know, we can dream, Des.
You can dream, Tim.
Maybe they just use the two mid floors in the kitchen. Absolutely fine.
Absolutely. And I'll say what I've said so many times on the stream over the last couple of days, Tim. Oh, never mind. I've really thought they were going to stick it. I thought we were going to see Raura, and we don't get to see Raura. So, no talking about Raura today, guys. But maybe we'll see Raura later.
Reloading! Cover me!
Instead, they're leaning towards Blitz, the King, and the Lion. Plus, of course, a little bit of flank watch coming out from the Gridlock. Fans on the other side worth talking about, actually. Monty, as I mentioned, is the most banned, but after Dockerby, Grim actually has the highest attacker win rate of any operator at the competition so far. Not too surprising. A lot of teams are leaning in towards playing a hell of a lot of Grim. We've seen a good number of bans ourselves, to be fair, Tim. I think his presence as an operator is actually the highest of any, which means presence is like the combination of all the rounds where he could be played, which ones did he picked or banned. He has the highest percentage, so the more you know.
A little bit of attention towards bottom white stairs at the minute, which is for attacking onto Reading. Not always a usual start. You'd maybe looking more towards that top floor to begin with. I think they're going to rappel up there now and just going to go onto the dining window. Absolutely fine. You know, you might catch somebody out, but in goes the Blitz. Yeah, they're just going very lateral here. They know that somebody's in train, do they? Yes, they do. Very easily found.
Forrest, you good?
Okay, Relays manages to get one along the way. Yoga has held back Bappen, so it's now 3 versus 4. Enterprise certainly in the ascendancy, and I don't think Oxygen were quite ready for this kind of a rush.
No, this has been absolutely fantastic out of Enterprise. Really come in, hit them fast here like a freight train, and there's not a lot they can do to stop, but I'm worried because now that they've got into sight, it's like they've got nowhere else they can charge Tim. They've blown their load. They've already used the smokes here to get into where they need to be. Lots of Candelas still to play with, but where do you go now?
This is it. They've actually backed off a lot because they haven't really had a choice. Two-Hand does manage to get one, though. Confirms the kill onto Yoga. 2 versus 3. Atom and Grix are going to be the ones trying to hold on. Relays finds his man. It's all up to Atom. He's on the perfect op for it. Has the Warden, gets himself a kill through the smoke. 1v2.
He's already done it before, Tim.
A minute left, though.
Yeah, they tossed candelas and smokes at him, and I was like, that is the wrong op to be throwing these gadgets at, because you then assume that part of the map is safe and no one's there. Absolutely incorrect, and they're going to toss out another one here as well. Atom, once again in the spot where he can make great use of that gadget. Can see in towards both sides realistically from here. It's quite safe except for the hatch. Do they know where he is? I'm not 100% sure they do. Maybe they do now. As they round on the corner, he uses the smoke himself to get into a good bit of cover. Tries to get the alternate angle, but Tuhan finds him first. Enterprise win their first attack. And yes, Sozu, I did say blown their load. Congratulations for spotting it. I will stress, I normally say this, by the way, and I haven't done it officially. This is the last game on B stream. I normally say if there's less than 5,000 viewers, then we're going to have this as a chat engagement stream. So if you've got any questions or any comments, then we're more than happy to hear them and take them. There is a game, of course, to cast as well, but yeah, why not? Let's make it interactive,
We
Tim.
can do two things at once, don't worry. So, look, Atom had a real fantastic opportunity, a clutch there, that 1v2. I love what he did. Use that destructive ingredient to create by shooting the fire extinguisher, creates the smoke, runs across, and he has his opportunity on one of the two. He just doesn't quite land his shots for it. There, that was the one. Doesn't quite land the headshot. He's on a very difficult weapon to do it, to be fair. Doesn't quite land it, and ends up losing his life. But that could have been absolutely beautiful. Just pop the fire extinguisher, destructive ingredient, move across, find the first kill, and then chase down the second. Would have been absolutely brilliant.
Didn't know that was a good first question, to be fair. Does Des smell good today, Tim?
Des always smells good, to be fair.
Thanks, mate.
No, you do.
I do, actually, yeah.
Yeah, there you go,
Ooh,
you see.
that was a very nice smell. That's my aftershave. That's doing the heavy lifting here.
No, I think you've got good taste
Though-
when it comes to...
Recently, I've gone on this journey of wanting to replace the deodorants that I normally use, because I normally go and, like, you know, probably like most people do. They buy like a £1 or £2 like roll-on deodorant, antiperspirant, whatever, and you go through them really, really quick, and you always buy new ones. And I was like, I'm throwing so many of these away that the amount of plastic waste don't feel great. Plus, it's really bad. It stains your clothes as well. And so I've tried something called Salt of the Earth, this new deodorant. Other deodorants are available, but it's actually really, really good. Very, very like gentle smell as well, but it's just nice and chill. I'm really enjoying it at the minute. So I'm glad that I don't smell bad with it.
I'm really glad you're enjoying it.
Thanks, mate. What's the best thing you ate in Paris, Des? Sushi? I've ordered a lot
You
of
eat sushi, literally the first, a little behind the scenes for you. Every single event we go to, the absolute first day, the first thing Des does, I
You
guarantee,
order sushi.
is he turns up and he'll be like, oh, I'm just ordering sushi. And
Yep.
it's everywhere we go. Absolutely everywhere we go.
Adore sushi. Absolutely adore it. Anyway, let's talk about this round then, Tim.
Let's.
We'll answer more questions soon, I promise. We're down in kitchen, though, and as you can see, we've got Forest across onto the Clash. Now, we have seen so many teams torch their opponents with Clash throughout this week, even with the Blackbeard on the other side, like Fisher Guy's doing here. Doesn't really ring them too much. You can get a little bit closer. Of course, you can avoid bullets when you're running around on the Blackbeard for the most part, but it's not the Clash you have to worry about. It's the teammates that are surrounding the Clash that is the main problem. She, of course, does no damage anymore, but while your eyes are on her, whereas she might drop the shield and start shooting you, there are normally one or two others around her looking to capitalize on your attention being soaked on the Clash and kill you for it. So, when you see Forrest moving somewhere, look at where his teammates are.
Enterprise are way ahead of the game here, by the way. We normally look for about 1:30 to be the point where you start doing your destructive work on that mid-floor. They've been doing it since about 1:50. Like, they're 20-30 seconds ahead of the round here, so they've got plenty of time to work with. They don't need to rush anything here, but I'm going to highlight the same position as I did previously. Yoga is in VIP on the Tubarão. What is the play? What is the plan? How are Enterprise going to deal with it? Because they've got the hatch open. It looks like they're shaping up towards White Stairs because Fisher Guy is over there with the diffuser. We can see it on a screen in front of us, and so they have to deal with Yoga in that position. Atom manages to pick up Tuhan, and this is exactly the problem. He's going to use his auto canisters to try and force them forward. Nitro goes out, gets his man. They do clear Yoga out, but that is a big, big kill for him to pick up. I think taking the Blackbeard out and losing Yoga there is actually a fine trade.
Oh, mate, Forrest is in such a good spot. Of course, the mobile shield really going to help. You will lose the shield, so now he becomes a little bit naked. Just the gun to go.
20
and Relays
seconds
is there to get the close, but like you say, Tim, they've wasted so much time. We're down to a 3v3.
Yeah, it's ideal from Yogo, like I say, especially with the backup from the Clash as well. They've played that really well. Atom manages to get another. Grixer comes down to a 1v1. 7 seconds left to go. Grixer, is he going to try and get himself out of dodge? I doubt it, because he's got the shot here. He knows exactly what he's doing. There we go. It was maybe a little bit.
I tell you what, it was a genius play if we do get the swing from the shotgun, but he only semi-stepped out, realised he was on the floor, was like, nope, straight back behind that corner. Absolutely beautiful. And Arcanum, yeah, shout out to the Aussie fans that have got up to watch Enterprise play. It's 5 a.m. there right now.
I'm going to say it must be real early doors for them.
Respect.
Because
you know what? It's a lot to be awake at this time in the morning to sit and watch your boys get blown out of the competition. It's a fair play.
We used to cover APAC from Paris. We'd always start at about 10, 11 in the morning. So given the time that we're on now, it's obviously not going to be a sociable hour over there. So, yeah, absolutely. Shout out to all the Aussies in the chat and watching.
Here's a great question from Balls Logic. What a name, by the way. Question for the casters. If you had to pick a player to win a 1v1 to save your life, who would it be? Who would you pick?
Me? Does it have to be a current player?
It could be a previous player, I guess.
Can be a previous player.
Though their skills might be a little bit behind the curve now relative to the current bar.
Yeah.
I honestly think because he was sort of forged in a lot of it, and it's such an easy bait answer, but stomping.
I knew you were going to say
because he'll have played a lot of 1v1s.
He beat Doki on controller. So.
Well, there you go. That's what I mean. Did he really?
He definitely beat Doki in the 1v1 tournament. I think I need to ask. I'll ask him when I see him. I think he was still on controller at that point. He may have tried. He may have been playing PC and by then. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly when it was. Who would I pick? Again, it's another really obvious answer, isn't it? But I think I'd have to go Shaiko. I think I'd.
Yeah, fair.
I think I would very much trust Shaiko to.
A stomping Shaiko 1v1 little.
Although Spoit is very good in 1v1 as well.
He is. Yeah, he plays a lot of twos though. From what I remember on his
well.
stream. Yeah, always good fun to watch. Anyway, Yog, I'll tell you what, there's a couple of players now really trying to play this rat game. It's Two-Hand right now looking to do the same. At the end of last round, it was player. Anything they can do to get a little bit of upset on the go and just catch someone off guard by the tiniest of margins could be enough. Yog has got the right idea, though, here. Bottom white must know that someone's looking to repel outside. Not going to step up for it just yet and spots nothing, of course, on the scan because there's nothing nearby. No one knows that it's here. He has a golden opportunity to maybe get a couple of kills if he times this right.
You might be glad to know that OXG are not using top floor. They're now on their third choice site, and it is mining, so looks like they're not going to be going up there. They are defending up there this time because they want to keep that verticality. You can't be letting Gomez win that relays. He'd already put a couple of bullets into him. Really just turns around, goes on the counter swing, and takes his man down. 5 versus 4. Great opener for OXG.
Here comes Two-Hand marching in towards storage. He's got the right idea, and it's a great part of the map to be inside. In fact, both of them are here. They get the deep freezer player, which is nice, and Atom is going to drop away. 4v3 for OXG as they concede top floor, but I think you'll take that at this point, Tim. The damage has been done.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way, OXG. Just playing to keep their lives, essentially, now. The Ram Gadget, the Boogie Drone, is going to start on its way, but I like this from OXG. If you remember, we saw Enterprise downstairs and they got picked up once or twice on those verticals, whereas OXG seemed just a little bit more conscious of those floors opening up above them and a little bit more mobile. They've kept themselves out of danger.
Having the verticals is all well and good, but you now got to have the next stage of the plan, and this is where you'll see OXG just disappear into the bowels of the map. Not need to expose themselves all that much. May fancy themselves the odd gunfight up top, and sure enough, there's 1 or 2 around Fireplace looking to give just that back up to the side of Enterprise. Confident in their ability to fight it. Two-Hand now looking in for the drop down. They should hear him, of course. You're fine. Don't even get to the bottom to mask the sound of you hitting the floor. That's a good angle in towards mining here. It's actually a twist away because they might have a good chance here. Really, it's only Yog that's got maximum coverage on that side of the map. They could hit sight out there. In fact, by the looks of it, I think they're still trying to go in towards Fireplace, though. You got to pick soon, boys. You've only got 20 seconds.
Yeah, exactly that. Forrest is just going to have a wriggle around on that floor to get himself out from behind that dining table. Moves through into Train. Oh, Atom.
Nice
it was
play.
a little bit target-rich for him. He couldn't choose which to go for.
Ooh.
They see the man, but Forrest gets the kill. Goes for another, but player finds the answer. 3 seconds left to go. No choice but to stop putting it down.
He missed the other one.
It's the Yokai. Takes it down, stops the round, and that is going to be OXG going on to map point.
Oh, that's such a shame because he shot one in one corner but missed the second. Heartbreak. OXG up to 6 and 3. This is the problem with leaving things down to the dying seconds. A couple of questions that have come in from Super Spares. What's that white piece of paper in their hands? I assume they mean the hand warmers. Players tend to...
Yeah, very possibly, yeah. So
or it's strats, one of the two. Normally teams have a lot of like strat books
depending
in
what
front of them.
it could be strats.
I tell you what, that brother printer that is outside the playing area has got some use this week.
It's put a shift in.
It's put a shift in. And I really like this one from Balls Logic again. Another one for you guys. If FaZe end up winning this SI, where does that put this team in terms of the greatest teams to play the game?
It puts them up there. The thing is, right, so the thing I'm going to say there is I think it is very difficult when you talk about players or you talk about teams or you talk about anything. I think it is very difficult to identify and define a best of all time. I think
really
it's
hard.
always a conversation.
I think nostalgia really helps with
I
banter.
agree. I think definitely. But, you know, I look at, you can look at a situation and say, right, you know, who's the better player? You know, like Stomp and Shaiko or Pengu. And it's very difficult to compare them three because they've all played like what I see as maybe their peak at a different stage of the game.
Yeah.
And so I could make a strong argument for Pengu being the best player to ever play this game. But he was better in different ways to other people.
He wouldn't be able to hit the same level today because the game obviously progresses over time. In the same way someone who ran, you know, the 100-meter sprint in X time 100 years ago couldn't beat Usain Bolt.
It's just different skills as well. So I look at Pengu and I think his brain for the game and the way he thinks around the game was like some of his main strengths. I've got to go back to the green room with Nick after this, so I'm being very careful. Mechanically, he's excellent as well. But you know, you look at somebody like Shaiko and his strengths come from that just raw precision and mechanical ability. And again, he's a smart player, but he doesn't. I don't think he had the same strengths as Nick in that sense. And so it's very, very difficult. And again, the same with teams. You know, you look at teams and you say, you know, can you compare FaZe now to Penta then? To, you know, the strengths are very different to the W7N team that won everything for the year. Like, you know, it's so difficult, I think, to define a
To give
best.
a much shorter answer than what you're giving, I think if they go back-to-back SI, then they are definitely in contention for one of those two teams. It'd be them or G2. Oh! So many times we've seen these early spawn pick attempts just not quite land the shots required. Heartbreaking. But it would actually put them in there, I think, for the top two teams of all time. Which one's which, you can then obviously leave to the jury because, again, modern day Siege, it's harder to be dominant across a whole year as G2 were back in the day. A run out and Forest has got rid of player. He's come back for second, Tim. He's double dipped.
He's double dipping, Des. He's gone in for more. How rude. Manages to get his man. 5 versus 3, and Oxygen, you've got to say, go on to win Cafe from here. And I think I laid out the path for this match at the beginning. I said I think Oxygen take Cafe. I think they'll struggle to get Chalet away from Enterprise. It's one of their favourite maps. And then I think we have a little decider on Fortress. We're better to see who goes home and who stays. But, you know, who knows? Maybe OXG have done a bit of work on Chalet. Maybe they'll surprise us. But I think Enterprise are going to be fighting tooth and nail for that one. But, look, we've got to get there first. This one isn't over. Relays manages to pick up Gomez. He manages to get another. They're turning it around as I speak. We thought it was going to be over. Forest with a Nitro 2v2.
A lot of his kills have come in these dying round situations like this 2v2 that's now breaking out, which is what makes me so nervous for Bappen and Relays. Forest has been an absolute demon. It's in his name. He's a slayer, Tim. He's ready for these kind of plays. You've got Grixer with 2 smokes left, and there's half a round to play. It has been manic, to say the least, in these first 90 seconds.
Okay. See what happens up on this top floor. Relays Bappen kind of trying to work together here. Need to make a challenge down towards Lumber. They see the man. Forest is not going to peek out again, I don't think. He knows he doesn't want to be... Oh, I say that and he does, and takes a little bit more damage there. But the Toxic Babe canister will grab a little bit from Relays. They've let him walk up. Forest, he's been moved away from the top of White Stairs. Bappen knows. He finds the second. And that was a great round for Enterprise to turn over. After that double run out from Forest at the beginning, it looked for all of our lives like Oxygen were going to take that map, but Enterprise keep on fighting.
Well saved, well saved. Before I actually get an answer to this question, Tim, Zuko asked, if you could pick anyone to cast with besides each other, who are you picking? I was kind of like, that's like saying, if you weren't with your girlfriend, who would your girlfriend be? I feel like it's a hard one to answer. I just don't know.
It is. You shouted at me for being sentimental earlier. I don't know.
I didn't shout. That is such an over-exaggeration.
When
that
we got off
conversation.
cast, Des pulled me aside and absolutely went mental at me.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, Tim. It's on tape and everything, right? Oh, you've got the video for it, right?
Yeah, of course I do.
Of course you do. Absolutely.
Oh, I think my phone's actually
Oh,
died.
that's really inconvenient, isn't it? Yeah, brilliant that. But I don't know. It's hard to imagine now because we've done it together for 6 odd years.
It is very
We've had a lot of fun with like bringing guests on for a TriCast, and I think that's what I would
100%.
say.
I've really enjoyed all of the TriCasts.
Yeah,
that we've
they've
done.
been class.
So for people wondering, oh, well, you're just going to get, and we can cast with anybody. We do cast with other people when required, of course. But it's one of them, like, it's hard to explain the familiarity that you get. When I say that I know when Des is going to finish speaking, I know when Des is, like, to the word when he's going to finish speaking and vice versa. And that's online, in person, anything. It's like I don't have to think about it. I just know when to start speaking. And that can be difficult, those sort of rhythms with other people.
And you also know the sense of humour well, like how far you can take things. I obviously don't know where that floor sits. I'll find it one day, I'm sure. But it's hard because you do gel really, really well. But like you say, I'd also happily cast with a bunch of other people as well. Just
We do, you know.
Tim's the one.
We do quite frequently, but I'd always come home, put it that way. I don't think I've ever actually cast with Nick, to be honest. I'm going on a bit of a Pengu glaze today, aren't I?
I've cast with Nick, it was alright. Actually, I really enjoyed casting with Jake. If you, like, drop dead right now, I'd go and grab Xenox and get him to come and cast.
Genuinely, there's nobody on the team, and I will say this hand on heart, it's not just because they're here listening. There's nobody on the team I've ever cast with that I've not had a great time with. I think we've got a fantastic team here in Siege. But given that I watched Nick play a lot, it'd be cool to cast with him at some point.
I'd love to cast with Fabian at some point. Oh my God, Tuhan, calm down, my friend. Tell you what, the Aussies are going to be shutting me up, Tim. I was joking earlier when I was saying, like, oh, they've turned up at 5 AM to watch their team get slapped, but I really thought they were going to lose this map, Tim, but they are fighting their way back in. Forrest and Grixer yet again have got to pull off a clutch, but now there are even more players left on the other side. There's nades coming on through. It's not a pretty time to be Forrest right now as he's dug in deep. This is Hell in a Cell, baby, and there's 5 players coming in. A flawless round for Enterprise. We're up to round 12, Tim.
Well, I spoke a couple of rounds ago when it was 5 versus 3 to OXG, thinking they were going to close it out. I was talking about Chalet. Enterprise are making a fool of me at this point. They are fighting their way back into it, and I love it. I am here for it. OXG, however, look, there's a real potential here, Des, where OXG have to go into Chalet, and as I've said, it is not a map that they generally play. It is certainly not a map that they generally win. Enterprise love it there. If Enterprise could go to overtime, come through and win this map, Enterprise, well, OXG are going to look back at that 5 versus 3 and think,
yeah,
that was the moment.
Yeah. There are a few moments that end up like these, where we've seen it for Fear X as well, Tim. The number of team kills they've got in 5v2 or 5v3 situations and scene rounds lost is heartbreaking. And we're not seeing as many in this series, granted, but they are the moments, like you say, you'll look back at the end of a map and go, oh, if only we hadn't done that one. And that's a really curious thing. Every time I speak to a coach after a game or a player and say, oh, you know, what happened there? You just lost it like 7-4. And they're like, yeah, we should have won like 7-3. And they'll have the 4 rounds in their head that they know they should have won. Yep. And they'll be able to tell you, well, if we'd done X, Y, and Z differently, we would have won. I was like, yeah, but that's like saying if a football player just kicked a ball on the goal, you would have won the match. There's a lot more that goes into it than that. And, you know, sometimes making mistakes and things going slightly wrong is always going to happen. I can guarantee the other team could equally point to 3 or 4 rounds where they would say it feels like things have gone wrong that shouldn't have gone wrong. And it's just really interesting how different teams have this different perspective on games, that even when they lose, they're like, oh, we should have won, and we know we should have won, therefore we'll crack on as we are, and it's okay. It's just really interesting, the way that different teams think about it.
Right, Oxygen have missed 2 opportunities to close this out, and they need to get it done. They need to clinch this. They need to get it over the line here and now. They are down in Kitchen, and it's going to be their last opportunity on Cafe before we get to overtime. Enterprise carrying some momentum. They're going to go straight into the top floor. They've got the book on side. They did a really good job of this last time, by the way. They cleared very quickly. They were opening up those verticals at about 1 minute 45, 1 minute 50. So it was really good from them. But the defense from Oxygen, again, as always, pivoted around that VIP position. Yoga did a great job. He was actually supported by the Clash. I think it was Atom who was on the Clash that round, whereas this time it's Forrest. But I'm lying, it was Forrest. So he was supported really well by the Clash, who came round just as he died, took that position, and it was good stuff from Oxygen to keep held on to the end of the round. But I'd like to see this time Enterprise, focus on that position in VIP. Don't leave it too late and get the Tuburai moved.
I'm looking back at the last 2 rounds. It took a 3K from Bappen in round 10, a 3K from Tuhan in the previous. Fair to say, it's taken big moments from players on the side of Enterprise to claw this one back, because prior to that, Tim, they weren't really finding much, and they've still only found the entry in 3 of these rounds across the entire game. It's fantastic resilience from the Aussies being shown so far, but who's going to don the cape? Who's going to be Superman for them in this round?
As we can see, the work has begun to soften up the hatch and the floor. The book is going and opening everything up. We've got the Deimos there in support as well. Otherwise, beautiful. Otherwise, we are down into the bakery. Gomez just drops a nitro at his feet and lets the blitz run over it. Just dares him to challenge him. Detonates and takes the shield out of play. Atom led prone, finds a beauty onto player. 5 versus 3, and the clash is making life a nightmare right now for Enterprise. Not looking good.
How has Gomez died there of all places? He was in behind the counter and has lost his life to it. But like you say, the clash is now back inside bakery. That's ground retaken. It'll be so hard to knock them out of unless this charging forward and get the kill. Tats, it works! Shooting him in the back, but Forrest, no! Escapes in towards sight. Tuhan snaps onto Yogg, but Yogg finds him first. Bappen has got to be that hero, but there is no time left. 3 kills to find for himself. Oxygen going to break Oceanic hearts here, I'm afraid, in taking away this first map. And we'll have to see how Chalet goes, Tim.
Yeah, Bappen doesn't have the diffuser. There's absolutely nothing he can do here. Grixer is going to pick up that final kill. OXG, they get map 1 after a little bit of a false finish, really, on that 5 versus 3. They eventually get it done in round 12. Close it out, and they're heading to Chalet 1 map to 0.
Not forgetting that was their map pick, and to be fair to Enterprise, Tim, they've dragged them very close. I would be really surprised if we don't see the same sort of story building up on Chalet, and potentially Enterprise taking it and sending us into Fortress. It feels like a good way to end the journey for one of the teams on Fortress as a new team, and I really hope we get to see it.
I think there's a very good chance. As I've said, statistically, it certainly does favour an Enterprise win. Not to say that it's a guarantee, though. You know coming in to the Six Invitational that you're going to have to play those maps you don't normally. So XG, the very real possibility that they've put some work into it.
You can see the entries I was talking about on the right-hand side of your screen as well. Dominant by OXG, getting 8 of the 11 they could possibly find. Looking incredibly good. Fair to say, Bappen on the other side put up some good numbers, Tim, but there is work to do across the whole team to really get things going here and get their way back into this series. But with that said, map 2 does await after a short break. Back with you in just a few.
Maria with a cake. You know what time it is. Birthday time. Today is Twister's birthday. Let's go. Cadê ele? Where is him? Where is him? Ô, Twister, chegou o teu momento. He didn't notice me. Ô, Twister, todo mundo? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Twister. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Vai. Woo! So, boa. I'm not gonna ask you your wish because it might be to lift a hammer, but you are doing so great in secret, so that might happen.
Yeah, exactly. I think like in the moment right now, the team is just flowing, so I'm very happy with the results. And for sure, if I have one thing to ask, it's just the biggest achievement of my career. What is that?
Sure, you have won all of your games, also Flux, and you are playing against them today. It might be a gift to also win over them.
Exactly. If we win today against them, I think it's a good showing for the team to go through groups without a single loss, and also to boost the confidence of the group for the playoffs. So yeah, a big gift.
Who should be more worried, you or them?
Who should be more what, sorry?
Worried.
Worried. I think Dan right now, they had like a few shaky games, but I still think it will be a good game. Maybe even a 3 maps game, but we might get it.
Let's not talk about game. Just like you have some lunch. What is the gift you're gonna give him for his birthday?
A win.
So beautiful, so beautiful. Happy birthday, Twister.
Every Six Invitational final is a storm of pressure, a clash of tension. They leave a mark that doesn't fade.
Boston, are you ready? The Six Invitational 2025 begins now!
We need to want it, CSI. We need to want it.
Everybody always talks about being mentally prepared for a game. And no one really knows what that looks like.
Especially that pressure of SI. As a player, that eats you up.
Everything is possible. Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys. Let's fucking go.
I could do a bit of that. I'm a bit tired today.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, Forrest, but maybe now's not quite the time for a rest. There's some work to be done.
You woke Spiker up earlier, so...
Bro.
maybe you could wake him up too.
It was pretty fantastic. Yeah. Look, that first game, it came far closer than I think Oxygen wanted it to. They had a 4-2 half. They looked fantastic. And then Enterprise showed a little bit of what they were made of on the Attacker Cafe team, which surprised me because I think we tend to see our weaker teams in the tournament struggle on the attacking sides of most maps, especially more defending-leaning ones like Cafe, but I was proven wrong. It was a 7-5 to OXG, though, which means they are in the driving seat to take this win and make it into 4th place, get out of groups, into playoffs, and send Enterprise home. If Enterprise can win, then we have to go to Fortress to see which way this series goes. It's Enterprise starting on the defense and OXG on the attack.
Yeah, I think Enterprise did a great job. The big question, of course, coming into Chalet is whether they can do an even better one. We are ready to go, so let's get into it and find out.
We're in, who cares? Don't need the transition anyway.
We're there.
Very good. All right, then. Let's get into our ban phase and see what operators get taken away from the board, who does not get to play in Chalet. Question for you, Tim. If you could visit any map in Rainbow Six Siege, which one would you visit?
Because
Chalet is a bit of an easy win.
Hereford.
Why Hereford?
Love Hereford.
It doesn't really feel like a great vacation
it's just a nice
location.
Town. It's a nice market town. No, I'm joking.
Saturday market just rolling up and setting up in front of Hereford.
It's a nice market.
In a military compound, Tim, yeah?
Yeah, nice market town.
Genius, honestly.
Which one would have it? It's an easy choice. I'd probably go with Coastline, as long as it was brought up to standard.
I've heard your rant about it before,
yeah,
the way that sofas are facing and so on.
If we could get water put back in the pool, maybe. A little visit to Ibiza would be quite nice.
Yeah.
La Perla Blanca, the resort is called, by the way. There's some lore for you, you see.
Oh, this is real. Is it actually a real resort?
No,
Attackers need to locate
just the
and
resort in
defuse
the
bombs.
game. The Coastline Hotel is called La Perla Blanca.
It would be kind of like free advertisement if it was a real place. And if it looked like it in the game, then they'd have like no guests. I wouldn't go there. It's a wreck. Definitely a very confusing orientation as you sit and look at the maps in Siege for too long. You kind of realise that no architect would build a building this way.
They make sense for our purposes.
Yeah, and we just every single day just kind of accept it as is. The rest of us look at it and just kind of go, yeah, that's cool. You look too long and you kind of go, this ain't suitable, this ain't appropriate. But alas, it's about the game and nothing else. Let's get into it then. Round 1. As I mentioned, OXG are on the attacking side here. You tend to see Chalet be a bit of an attacker-leaning map, so maybe you'd favour them to have a good start here, and Enterprise are the ones who will, yet again, have to play catch-up. But given Cafe was the reverse of that, a more defender-leaning map where we saw attackers have a very good time on it, maybe, just maybe, we see a more defender-sided Chalet just to tip things upside down once more. Atom on that Dockerby. Already spoke to Death about it throughout the competition. Highest win rate of any attacker in the game at this competition so far. Picked by 30% of the time she's available, she is picked up. And when she is picked up, she's very, very dominant with a 55% attacking win rate, Tim, which is very, very good for an attacker. You have a bunch of defenders in the mix that are around that number, same as her. But attackers, I think she's quite by far and away ahead of everybody else. Ooh, Thorn almost getting picked out as Tuhan steps forward to looking towards Mud, but nope, not going to find his shot, and Tuhan's going to back away.
Oxygen are picked to start on the attack here, so they're going to come in and try to clear out this Roma for the time being. Atom does manage to pick up Tuhan, but there will be a trade there as Bappen has the response. Gomez counter-trades that and takes him down. This is trade for trade at the minute, and Oxygen are the ones that come away with the advantage. They're going to be attacking onto Master bedroom and office this time around, so it's all up to the top floor. But yep, effectively 3 versus 3 as Gomez is down in, I think he's just outside the gaming window. Okay. Yeah, he's outside gaming window.
He must have been tagged from relays from the window, I think.
Yeah, relays is up in library.
You can see where he's down, actually. Yeah, he is outside. So it's recoverable, and I believe that it's Grixie that's coming over. Relays has dropped down, though. Knows there's a challenge coming on through, and Yogg has gone very, very solo there and paid the price for it. They lose the shield. Tim really could have held on a few more seconds there and waited for his team to join him.
It's quite interesting that nobody from Enterprise is currently on site. They've all come running down to this bottom corner of the building towards library to kind of back relays up. Fisher Guy and relays now do just sort of scramble their way back. Relays has gone underneath. He's going to have to head up trophy stairs. Yeah, definitely moving as a pack there and wanting to make sure that their guy over in library was looked after. 3 versus 3 then, as Gomez was collected. OXG need to continue trying to soften this side, but there's not a lot of work being done towards actually the objective of putting the diffuser down because there's been so much battling around gaming.
It's been a really weird round overall. Like, it hasn't felt like a lot has happened, but obviously we've got 4 players dead because of this weird scrap that happened around bar and gaming and Relays being in a great spot to get a kill, then backing away. It has been quite tame overall. Grixer stepping in and starting to move his way forward. Eats up a couple of those Denari laser zaps. In fact, he walks into a second one. Tim, that's not a good start for him. And it's a freebie being lined up here. His player brings down Forest for free. Now looking for his second on towards the man I was speaking about a second ago. Was looking for a third, but now being challenged from 2 angles. Looking like Enterprise going to hold on here in round 1, Tim.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. A triple for player at the end from that position on Mezzanine. Closes out the round. Enterprise with the first successful defense.
I know people often like to ask and find out, like, is this map attacker leaning or defender leaning? And I've got the actual stats here in front of me. Cafe is our second most defender-sided map right now. At Cafe on the first one, sorry, 60%. I was looking back at that and comparing the whole series. Fortress is our most defender-sided at 62.5%.
No surprise.
Surprising nobody. Yeah. Chalet is at the other end of things. It's only Border that gets ahead of it. With Chalet's got a 51% defender win rate. So pretty good as far as things go. You generally see attackers, as we've always said, be pretty good on this map. Down there, it's Border, Chalet, and Bank all very, very close to each other. And 3 most defender-sided, as mentioned, is Fortress, Cafe, and Consulate.
It makes me wonder about the choice for OXG to go on the attacking side. As we know, as you've just shown there with some numbers, it's one of the more favourable maps towards attackers. It's not to say that attackers have the better wimps because they don't. They're slightly behind. But it's still more favourable than the other maps to attack. But I just kind of wonder if OXG gone with that thinking, let's get attack done. If we can maybe grab 3 rounds on the attack, we then go on to the defence where maybe they can be a little bit more comfortable on the map. Because if it's a map you don't really like, I would say the defences, personally, from my perspective, I'd say the defences are usually a little bit easier, a little bit better, because you're playing your plan. You already know what you're going to do. You lay out, you reinforce there, your gadgets go there, you do everything, you hold those angles. Whereas with attack, you've got a lot more to figure out. You've got to look at what they're doing. You've got to try and work around it. There's a lot more sort of moving pieces. So I feel like if you're not amazingly keen on a map, you're going to be happier on the defence. So which is what we're seeing on Fortress, which is why you said, we've got such a high defensive win rate there. So it's just interesting from Oxygen to go for the attack first of all on a map that they struggle with a little bit, because I just look and think, are they just thinking, yeah, let's get it out of the way, grab 2 or 3, and then we can move on.
There's various reasons for it. I've heard teams historically say, if they were on a map like Clubhouse, would choose to start on the attack, and I was always like, why? And their whole thing was, we're confident we can get 3 rounds. We feel if we can do that, we can put pressure on the other side, and it'll mentally be in their mind when we get into that second half. So I kind of get it, but equally, at the end of the day, you've got to attack and defend at some point throughout the game, and you've got to win the equal number of rounds on either side to have the overtime that you eventually come to. So it is what it is. It's not that big a deal, I don't think, when you've really boiled it down that much. And just starting play from OXG was to get themselves up through those lobby stairs, or not up the lobby stairs, but up the garage stairs into towards lobby to then get a little angle in towards split, in which they find absolutely no one, at least for now. Players, the one set upstairs on that mez spot, a typical triangle we talk about on this top floor, isn't quite in place, which might leave Enterprise a little bit fragmented here if they're not too careful, Tim. If Oxygen go a little bit quicker, they might be able to capitalise here and completely surprise the Aussies. They're feeling it, aren't they, as well? Here we go.
They really are. They're going to go in through here. Smoke is out. Plant is going down. Glaz is on the cover. It's going to have to be good. Straight around the corner. But the shots ring off the shield and are not going to do anything to stop that Plant going down. 5 versus 3.
They're all alive, Tim.
Yeah, this is done. 3 versus 5. Bappen up top. It'd be nice to be able to hold that from above, but they're just going to hold it from the window. I really don't see that there's much that's going to be done here, especially given that plant position, Des. It's right in the corner. You can't long arm it. You can't get anywhere near this without showing yourself to these attackers. So, yeah, this one's over. Oxygen with a great rush there, picking up the second round. It's going to be 1-1.
I really feel bad digging into a player here, but Tuhan, like, what are we doing, bro? There's a smoke set up, and fair play, he's had a spray through, but you've heard a shield. You know there's a shield there. It'll be on his back. Very fair chance it's going to protect him from most of the shots that you'll send at him. What have you got set in back pocket? You've got a C4. The Glaz has to shoot that C4 out the sky. He's the only one who can because of the smoke. You're guaranteed to get a kill with the C4, but holds on to it until, as we saw, right to the very end of the round, and they can do nothing about the plant going down.
I think the concern, and I get punished with this all the time, So I think this is why it comes to my mind. But I think the concern is there. There's at least the Glaz watching from the window. There's probably somebody else ready to just kind of blind spray through the smoke as well. You pop round the corner with the nitro in your hand, you're getting shot. And you can do nothing about it. So I think he's hoping, he knows that he needs a bit of luck there. I'm just going to go around, I'm just going to put a load of bullets down range, and hopefully one of them sticks. Hopefully one of them captures the head. It's, you know, something's showing. But look, difficult situation. Oxygen created it well. You know, they put Enterprise under that sort of pressure with the plan that they had. It was a simple one. Smoke, Glaz, fuse, shield, done. In you go, get the diffuser down. I love how quick they worked it. They were confident, they bought into it, which is often one of the important things on rushes, and they got the job done. So, 1-1, and we move on to round 3.
Absolutely. A little bit of balance is always a nice way to start a map, Tim, rather than seeing the team just run away with things, go 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, and it's like, oh, okay, it's a very one-sided game. I like it when both teams get around the board early on because it does show this competition there and that you're going to get, at least you hope for, a very competitive half. Now, Atom's in pretty quick here, blowing up that mirror window nice and early. So Two-Hand not in the safest spot anymore. In fact, it's Relays that was setting behind it. Can't do all that much more to feed information, but of course, has the soft wall to its left-hand side, so can challenge down towards Library Stairs if desired. Atom's going to try again, pushing up here. There's 2 players ready to swing onto him. They're reinforcing the wall off there. So that is now at least a relatively safe piece for the side of Oxygen to move up and through until that mirror window gets knocked out.
Yeah, Oxygen certainly shaping to take over Office and maybe get the wall open down in Fireplace. They've got 2 hard breach. They've got the Ace and the Maverick, so plenty to go at, and then maybe a little plant just in behind that B-bomb chassis. But it's largely going to depend on how the rest of this round progresses. They've got electrification to deal with. They can do that from the main door if they want to. Just get inside and take that out from underneath. It is certainly possible. They've got, I'm looking at Atom with those Ash Chargers, nice and easy. But alternatively, they can just use the Maverick. Given that it's an electrical they're going up against, it can be tough to find it, though.
It can indeed. For now, no one's gone down. It's actually one of the slower rounds that we've had, Tim, inside 90 seconds. No one has been really involved in an entry engagement. It's just been the focus on the utility, of course, for Atom getting rid of the mirror window. That's all we've really seen. The rest of it has been about the information, but I imagine it's all going to explode forward pretty damn quickly as 4 players on the side of Oxygen now very much focused on getting this B-site wall opened up. Out comes a little bit of freeze to slow things down as Fisher Guy starts out with the kill on towards Atom. Enterprise for now holds strong, Tim, but here come the Americans.
Yeah, I like this plan. Rather than worry about the electrified wall, they've just gone to the one that runs 90 degrees to it and got that one open instead. It's going to have the same effect, which is forcing players back out of Office. But right now, Enterprise are not for being forced anywhere. Bappen, he's led down behind the piano. He does get kind of seen, but it's not part of the hitbox. You got to remember, items of like uniform, things like helmets, all that sort of stuff that wouldn't be a body part is not going to be a part of a hitbox. Gomez goes in, manages to get the kill. Fisher Guy onto Yoga, 3 versus 2.
Just the 2 left alive here as well. They've at least got a little bit of control, but now they most certainly do not with player just deleting Grixer. Gomez, unfortunately, got it all to do, and then has got to worry about the actual downstairs site itself. It's really going to be kill all 3, or this one is toast. And inside 15 seconds, Tim, I don't think he'll get away with it. Once again, we've got player ready and waiting, but there's a C4 from below. Two-Hand finds his man, and Enterprise go up to 2-1.
Yeah, Enterprise looking pretty solid there. I like that. It was a nice adaptation coming out of Oxygen. I don't think it was strictly necessary, really. They kind of put the little Mav lines in the electrified wall and then smoked off the Ivy door and opened that wall instead. It didn't really benefit them too much. I'd have maybe, like I said, just, you know, get Atom underneath, Ash charge, clear out the electrical and get the wall open with an Ace charge, you know, from the mezzanine side. Because the reason that I say that is you're just putting yourself in so much less danger. On mezzanine, you can choose when you peek in and out of Office, then you can force them back quite quickly. When you stood in Ivy door to be able to get the angle to challenge into Office, you're inviting pressure to come from piano, and that's exactly what happened. So a little bit of a tough round for Oxygen, but I like the attempt. I like the thought to kind of navigate, if you will, that electrification. It just didn't quite pay off for them. So Enterprise, they're going to go back to Master Bedroom now. They'll start on their rotation again. 2-1 in the lead and feeling pretty comfortable, I think.
You know what, Tim? I'll even up for this one. I think this is the beauty about being able to have a little bit of chat interaction. If you said this caster don't know ball, he couldn't toss the C4 because of the Thatcher. I'm still looking out in that case there for the big explosion going off that we're so used to. I'm still honestly not used to seeing the launcher so much, but we've seen some really cool interactions this week. I imagine most of you have seen on social media this week as well the really cool play that came out where the Thatcher was ready to catch a C4 coming out, and instead the player tossed out one of those wee-woos, the propped alarms, shot the Thatcher cannon, then had to reload it, and then the real C4 came. It was a beautiful mind game that came out of it, but no, very fair point. I did miss that one, so thank you for catching it. I'll keep an eye out for the Thatcher more often, like we've got in this exact round, Tim. Just hope we deny away the utility when necessary. It's the only player that's got a C4 in back pocket for this round, mind you. And of course, we are on a very different site. We're off towards Master and Office. So it's the other side of the map that we need to be worried about. Tuhan out on the extension here on the smoke to try and slow things down. I think we'll see a little bit more of a scrap here, Tim, given how we have got a couple of players looking to be more aggressive and the Vigil lurking downstairs. Bappen once again having a pretty good start to this map.
Yeah, he's had a great tournament, I think, as Bappen. He's been a lot of fun to watch. He's had some big moments, and as you say quite rightly, he continues to do so here. 3 kills in 3 rounds, and you would definitely back him to get more before the end of this one. So Yogurt is going to start moving in, send out those bees. That's going to ping the location. Not of Bappen, though, I don't think. He didn't get picked up on that one. It was Tuhan who got picked up by the bees, so they just need to be careful. They're aware of that Vigil underneath. 1 minute 45 left on the clock. And I think at this point, they're just kind of struggling to get themselves established, and they are going to be punished. Double punished as Player and Fisher Guy managed to pick up 1 apiece.
Yeah, 2 for themselves looking pretty good then. Oh, that's not so ideal, but at least you'll get rid of things in the end.
Still didn't.
And they still managed to get the wall opened up. It's okay. It's not ideal, but it's okay. It's okay. We can still play the round. Atom getting rid of 2 hands, so 1 being equalised back the other side as the smoke is going to fall. Still 1 minute and 20 to play with as well. Does leave an awful lot of time for OXG to course correct him, but they've got to do so with a 1-man deficit.
Yeah, still very possible, but Bappen's going to go on a little run out here. I think he's gone down to that garage wall. He's got impact nade in hand. There you go. He thinks about it, but I think the intel there is either they're watching or they've come off rappel, which would be the case because Grix has gone in and joined Yoga down in trophy. 1 kill apiece as Bappen tries to come up West Main. Grix is there ready waiting, and he runs into his open arms. So all of a sudden, a 4v3 becomes a 2v3. Not ideal for Enterprise.
Nope. It's one of those again, Tim, where the round... Again, it's a number of rounds that we've seen this week, especially amongst those teams that are facing elimination, where they have a man advantage and the round just slips through their fingers. They're really good at hitting pause and reassessing where they're at, but it's the things that happen shortly after that then lead to a little bit of calamity. And that is exactly what we've seen happen here. OXG, though, that clock now becomes the 6th man for Enterprise. Essentially, we're into a 3 versus 3. Tim as Yog has to go in blind. He gets down, not quite finished off yet, but there is no real time to get him up, I don't think, here. It would be a massive risk as we get in towards the last 10 seconds. Grixer and Adam have got to go for it.
They've got to find kills because the diffuser is down. They don't have it in hand. It's out on Office balcony, and I don't think they're going to get it. So they've got to chase them down. They can't get it done in time. And that just goes to show you leave that case down cold. It could become a big problem towards the end of the round. Enterprise hold on, get themselves another. It's 3-1. And I'm sure OXG are going to want at least one of these remaining 2 attacks that they've got.
We've got to tap timeout, Tim, and actually I want to come back to that C4 point because I did want to go back and see exactly what happened. Now, on the defender side, they don't know there's a Thatcher on the other side, but he didn't fire his cannon at all during that period. Genuinely, it's really interesting because it's going to now lead to some mind games that I think are worth talking about. They didn't have to fire the EMP, but Tuhan, assuming that he didn't want to throw the C4 in case there was a Thatcher, is in a spot where he's being baited in the mind game, right?
I genuinely think it's more about I don't want to stick my head around this corner. That's very loud. I think from his movement, because he did kind of come out with it and then he goes back and then I genuinely think it's a I think there's bullets flying in through the window and he just thinks I don't want to go around there without a gun in my hand.
It does lead though. It makes me really think it'd be super interesting if throughout the tournament we do see teams starting to deviate away from just tossing C4s into smoke, knowing that it's probably going to get zapped out and risk exposing themselves at the same time as you're saying. It's more the risk factor that goes with it. So I'm going to be watching that actually over the next few days. I'm really curious to see if it does have any big impacts on those C4s and R moments. I know it can, of course, stop the C4 going off, but it's more the actions of players around that I'm very interested to see. And for someone who said, oh, they must hate reading this chat, I don't care. I sit in chat all the time and have a good time on other games anyway, Tim. It's absolute calamity. But that's what makes it so special. Into round 5 we go. So Enterprise, as we sort of said, Tim, might see a flip on Chalet. to what we're used to expecting. 51% defender sided normally. It is our second most attacker leaning in the pool, but Oxygen are struggling outside of that one round to get anything on the board. Enterprise have been really, really good at composing themselves in the late round and winning out these 2v2s, these 3v3s that start to ensue, or like in the last round, a 3v4. They still managed to get it over the line. So Oxygen are the ones who I'm now starting to think about what can you show on the defensive side, but they've still got 2 more bites of the cherry to show us what they can do on the attack. As the Lion Scam rings out in case there is any more cheeky spawn peaks coming out of Enterprise. We have seen many of them, but no one's going too crazy in this round.
Forrest's going to go crazy. He's going to go crazy right at the beginning of the round. Takes down the Fenrir. That's bapping off the board. And a nice little opener for Oxygen. Like I said, they're going to want at least one of these 2 remaining rounds. 3 would be ideal before they go onto the defense. We're just going to see Relays there waiting down at the bottom of Trophy Stairs. He's having a little think about the fact that Atom is there on the rappel. I think he's waiting for the noise to see if Atom repels in. There we go. Exactly that. Free. No!
Oh!
No! How does Atom get away with it?
Man. Oh. Once again, we've got Enterprise facing a man deficit situation. 2, in fact, in this case. A 3v5. Can they hold on as they've done for so many rounds? You look at the... If you, pause this freeze frame and said to anyone, do Oxygen go on to lose this round? You'd typically say no. They've got all their utility available. They've got a 5v3. They've got 2 minutes to work with, Tim. They've got everything they need to see this over the line. I really hope for their sakes they can get it done.
As would I. I think it'd be certainly damaging to the mental to not pick up this one. They've already lost a 5v3 today. They don't want to do it again. They've given up the Blackbeard far too easily. Player is able to escape. 4 versus 2 though, as Gomez is there for the trade. Grixer onto Fisher Guy, and surely they can get it over the line from here. Tuhan looking to hold on. He's only got the SMG in hand. He does have the shotgun, of course, available, but doesn't really want to be taking long-range fights with it, so instead sticks with the sidearm. Tuhan does get at him. Flicks a second onto Grixer. Surely not. The diffuser's going down.
He's got to make the cross. And Forrest is just a bit too good in these end round situations, Tim. We saw it back on Cafe, and it's happened again.
Great finish to the round there from Forrest, as you say. Got his man covered whilst that diffuser was going down. So 3-2 now. We find ourselves in the final defense for Enterprise. I actually think this is an alright start for Oxygen. If they can pick up another attack and go 3-3 before heading into the defense, I think they've got... I'm not saying that they definitely go through and take it, but I feel like they've got way more of a chance than they did before.
Absolutely. Oh boy. At least they can get this to 3-3 if they push on for this one. Now we're going towards Kitchen and Dining. We'll see how things set up. You've got Relay jumping onto the Soulless, Tim, so I think we're probably going to find that he'll disappear into the bowels of the map, sit underneath, provide that information to his team, or equally could be upstairs trying to do the same from above, denying a plant going on down. And with the reinforcements going in upstairs, as we're so used to seeing on this site by now, I do think you'll have a little bit of upstairs presence. The question then comes for OXG. Do you want to go and get that opened up and press on forwards, or do you want to attack from somewhere else and make it happen, maybe from trophy side? Typically with things like a thermite on site, which they aren't bringing in this round, you would see a focus on getting the office wall opened up first, then dropping down into towards lobby, opening up the dining wall as well, and then looking for a plant inside. But given the line appears, I think they've got something pretty special cooked for us.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's definitely something on the cards. Let's see how they shape up. Straight away, pressure over towards that main lobby door. A little bit of attention near Trench. Just looking in, they've got the double window open. Atom's going to start droning in through there whilst more barricades are opened up. Taking out that utility downstairs as well. Last time they just didn't really get close to this because they all piled into Ivy. It was one where they stood near the piano door and kind of got cut down as they did. The electrification really slowed them down. The Kaid is on side again, so they might have the same problems or similar to deal with. But instead, Oxygen have decided to go for this other side, go through Trophy, go through West Main, and try and get pressure applied from there.
Never reached that far enough to stop that going off. I guess it did, but open up with the nade regardless, and onwards we press from here. That is at least West Main, open to drones, and of course the windows being open to have guns looking in. There we go, Robot Wars charging on forward. The air of smoke coming out from the other side though, as I believe it's on at least the one starting to try and hold them back. It's not quite going to be the case, unfortunately, as that smoke first goes off. Opens things up for him to step in, but no player getting one back. Gomez being stopped. And it's Atom on the other side I'm still looking to. When he does make an entrance forward, he's had such explosive impact in this game, but so far has not managed to do just so in the round. 4v3 for Enterprise. They're holding on well yet against him. Everything OXG being pushed, is being pushed back.
Yeah, Atom managing to get one there to at least get something on the table for OXG. They've got plenty of time, so that's something for them at least. The hatch is electrified, though. They're going to have no way of opening that with no hard breach available either now that Gomez is down and gone. So they're just going to have to work with those soft surfaces as best they can. Minute 5 left on the clock. Relays is upstairs looking for a little bit of a flank here. Gave his position away and dipped. I think that Atom was aware of it anyway. He was approaching that angle very, very slowly. I think he knew that the challenge was going to be coming, but for now they continue on trying to get those verticals, trying to get something. But Enterprise, they're going to give them nothing here, Des. They're a switched on team. They know what it's about to play Chalet, and they are just going to stay out of trouble.
They're going to have to work down to a trophy for a plant here as well, which makes this super predictable for Enterprise to deal with. Relays for a second, I was looking at him and thinking, well, he's got to be above to deny a plant going on down, which is why he hasn't disappeared into the basement and may want to try and hit them on a little bit of a flank. It is a rush for them, but if someone steps, like you can see here, a foot or two out of position, he can get away with a kill, and he steps there looking for the spray down, but misses his man. That's so unfortunate, but it's a 4v2. He can afford to take the risk, gets a couple of shots on to Atom, finally finishes him off. 2-hand with the close, and Enterprise ending the half strong.
Yeah, it was good defense from Enterprise. Oxygen's attack never really went anywhere. They got themselves onto trophy stairs. That was about the best that they could hope for, really. They tried to move forward from there, died, lost the diffuser down in sight, just trying to work from above. But again, Enterprise played it smart, just played a lot deeper, back in dining, up onto mezzanine, and just, you know, you can have the map, you can have your time, because we're just going to hold you on long angles, and it worked perfectly for them. So 4-2 half, and we move into our banning phase.
Azami and Grim to disappear. Already spoken about those two a hell of a lot today. Azami, I think we all know, a bit ridiculously strong. And the Grim, the same story on at the other side. Our second best attacker, at least by win rate in the game so far. So colour me not at all surprised that that's been taken away. The question now for me, Tim, as we sort of spoke about after the end of round 4, is can Oxygen repeat the success that we've seen Enterprise having on the defense? They've got to come out with a 4-2 themselves to at least get to an OT. Does 5-1 feel a stretch too far? Probably does to me, which again then points us towards getting into Fortress.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's probably where we end up. I think if Oxygen come away with a 3-3, like I said, then they start getting, you know, that they're closer to the line, and I think maybe it's doable from there. I'm not sure about 4-2. I think the best that we kind of hope for Oxygen now is overtime, and then you're looking at, you know, Enterprise have got the choice of starting inside. You know, there's a lot that plays into it then that leads me to think that we probably see a map 3. But look, there's a long way to go yet. We thought that Oxygen were going to have Cafe wrapped up, and then eventually it went to 7-5, and it took all 12 rounds. And these surprises do happen sometimes. Both of these teams fighting for their life. It could be, you know, if Oxygen get a couple of successful defenses, Enterprise suddenly start really feeling the pressure because they know they're on the way home, and you don't know. It does funny things to players.
Same over on the other stream, to be fair. Tim, for those who aren't aware, there's currently FaZe versus G2 taking place over there. Got started very, very short time ago. And it's G2 fighting for their lives. So really right now, Tim, there are 3 teams all playing. Enterprise, OXG, and G2 all playing to still be in this tournament come the end of these 2 series that are currently being played out. So lots to look forward to across both. Obviously right now we're focused on this one. Down in Bar and Gaming. The extension up towards this top side, in fact across most of the map by OXG, so really looking to drag Enterprise into a full map clear, run the clock down, and leave them with very little available when it comes time to hit the site. Thinking very clearly to see for Enterprise, they're not looking to try and rush in here and go for a window plant in the same way that we saw out of OXG. That may come later on. I say that and they lose the Monty, so I don't think it is going to happen now, Tim.
Yep, Gomez manages to pick him up with a headshot, so 5 versus 4 player taking damage as well, and there is some early aggression coming in here, but I tell you what, OXG, they're actually stepping up and standing up to it really, really well. The Toxic Babe canister just preventing that continued progress as well from West Main. He's got Bappen up to the top of it, but he's had to hold back, and what that's done is it's just taken that kind of impetus out of this attack and slowed them down a little bit. I love that. Great technical use early on in the round. You don't always have to keep them in your pocket to the end of things, and it's just allowed Oxygen a little bit of time to reset and reposition. Nitro goes out. Atom finds relays, and Oxygen are looking good for the first round.
It's looking a little bit too cozy, isn't it, in this first round for OXG? Enterprise have barely got to step inside the building. It's still controlled across the whole board, really, by OXG. They've got 2 players above Bappen here who's going to really struggle to step on board. They've got one downstairs in the form of Gomez, who styles on him. They just wrap it up to him with a flawless round to kick things off. Not a good sign for the Aussies.
Not at all. The next round is particularly telling for me. I think if OXG come in and get 2 successful defenses, level things up at 4-4, then yeah, it's very much game on. Particularly, you know, maybe towards overtime, maybe even towards an OXG win. Enterprise, it's like I said, the nerves start kicking in. If they lose their first 2 attacks, they start, you know, that memory, that remembrance that you're going home if you don't win this one. That really starts coming to the front of your mind, I think, at that point. So Enterprise going to be wanting to get themselves a successful attack sooner rather than later. It's going to be Master and Office that they will try to do that on. OXG looking at the lineup, nothing crazy there. They're trying to slow them down. They've got the Ella, they've got the Castle, they've got the Aruna. So just lots of obstacles for Enterprise to have to try and play through. They are going with the Monty again, Des. Didn't really pan out last time, but I think it's important that we see a round where the Monty survives, you know, in order to judge that decision.
Or at least not being the first one to die. Feels pretty critical to them alive, although in this round it's been swapped away at the last second as Fisho jumps onto the gridlock instead. Really looking to lock down OXG's ability to get busy out on the roam here as well. Gridlock and the Nomad coming along with the Lion joining them. Just screams to me they want map control, and no doubt then a lot of eyes turn towards the Capitao player to really make a difference. Come the execute, and that is not a great start. Losing out one to the C4 early on, and all the gadgetry in the back pocket of that striker goes with them. Now, don't forget, of course, that's a lot of utility to lose because the gadget of a striker is to be able to bring along 2 sets of utility. Both of those being lost, well, it's going to sting.
Okay, then. Let's see if Oxygen can double down on that. We saw it last round. They were able to find that second kill as well and cement it. Trading has not been great so far on the 2 attacking rounds for Enterprise. And that's leaving Oxygen very much in control of these. We're just seeing them pretty much sit on site. Yoga's moved his way out to Library Stairs, but other than that, it is very much site focused here from Oxygen. Just having a look, nobody playing underneath either. So it's just going to be like a hammer meeting head on with a brick here as they come together and Enterprise try to crack this defense apart. It's not going to be easy.
OXG stacked up so comfortably. One inside the bathtub, one on the doorway, one on piano. It's this line of 3.
I like it. I like it.
Why?
Because they've got a line all the way down the site, and they've got holes in the wall. They can pretty much challenge anywhere into sight.
While still being very, very safe at the
yes,
same time.
And I do. I like the lineup.
Cheers, Tim.
No problem, Des.
I'm glad you're pleased by
That's
that.
what I'm here for. Look, all down this left side.
Yeah.
All just like you've got your angles into sight, and you can just let them filter in and take them out as they do.
I mean, at that point, Tim, they only need to go try and get over the first hurdle, which is Gomez, because right now he's deleting them all. 2 hands down, 2 diffuser, of course, Cole on the ground. Very little they can do, and Gomez really fought himself there. Don't really think it demanded a sprint like that, but he goes for it. He gets put down. Still an opportunity for Enterprise to recover the round.
The thing is, he was right. They were there, but he didn't ADS soon enough. He ADS too late.
It's more the question of why. You didn't need to make the play.
He just wasn't ready for the fight.
Grixer was.
Grixer is going to pick up 2-hand, as you say. He was very ready for that way. And the thing is, they know exactly where they're coming from now. Diffuser's down. They don't have a choice. They have to keep pushing this now to Enterprise. There's no choice of rotating, adapting, anything else. It effectively becomes a 1v4 now for player. Might have the opportunity to pick his man up. 20 seconds left to go. It's really not going to matter. Forrest does manage to finish off onto Bappen. I think Oxygen are probably just going to run at player now, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not been a great start to the half, that's for sure. OXG looking very, very commanding on the defense, and Enterprise with 2 limp attacks so far as the only way I can describe it has seen the score evened up at 4 apiece. They've really got to turn tide soon. Maybe even attack timeout to try and get the odds going the right way because it's not looking pretty. In fact, there it is right now. The Enterprise timeout comes in. Min stepping in for a few words with the boys because this is not going according to plan.
No, not at all. Certainly not the time to start losing, realistically, when you know that this could be it for your tournament. It could be a 2-0 loss, and off you go on the next flight home. Not going to be what they want for sure. Oxygen are really impressing me on defence here, to be honest with you, Des. You know, we've said this is a map that they don't usually play. The one time we've seen them play it, they've lost it.
And are fucking dying, like, no wonder. You know what I mean? Like, let's focus. Let's focus on pressuring the map and thinking what they think, yeah? Fucking go for it, yeah?
What the fucking pussy here?
That's about as Aussie as I expected Aussie timeout to beat him. Yeah. Half of the content was expletives.
Yep.
Very to the point with one another, as they so often are, and really just let's stop being soft and let's just get into it. Which I think is fair to say, because like I said, both attacks looks a little bit limp to me. Lacked any real direction. They got very stuck on West Main in the first one. In the last one there, they were so tentatively trying to all bottleneck themselves up through those solar stairs and having their heads ripped off every single time they did.
Yeah, something's going to have to change for them and change quickly, but I don't know. I feel like Oxygen have kind of slipped into a little bit of a, almost like a flow state now. It's just kind of like sit back, let them come on to us, we win our gunfights, no problem. I think they are by far the more comfortable team out of the two, with it being 4-4. We're going to go to kitchen and dining. They've had 2 successful defences already. Oxygen going to be looking for a little bit more of the same. I'd expect them to be holding on upstairs, which is what they are prepping here, just giving themselves the rotations that they need to be able to move around. There's not a massive presence upstairs, to be fair. There's 3 of them, but 1 is over in library. Atom is over out in library. Yoga just getting a little bit excitable there, taking a lot of damage at the beginning of the round. I'm guessing he was looking for some sort of peek or jump out or something onto somebody, but they were ready for it.
Definitely. Official guys, the one I'm watching in the round, we've already spoke about him falling down earlier on and really taking the sting out of any attack they could have offered. He used that center point. He's also, of course, got the diffuser in back pockets. And so he's the one that they're putting all of their chips on. There's still some work to do first and foremost, mainly trying to get that vertical control, making sure they've got a couple of walls opened up too, unless they really want to funnel themselves through Trophy once more. And probably more importantly, Tim, is to try and deal with Atom. As you can see, is being tracked out here. I believe we had the Deimos just outside of Mud a second ago. A Lion scan comes on through. They really want to get the crunch onto these roamers.
Just trying to work that angle down through the hatch. Ella now being targeted out. Yoga being tracked down by that Deimos. Not going to mind too much, though. You can kind of just let the challenge come from there. Yoga is going to get the kill onto Bap, and it's all falling apart again. Oh. And this is exactly what I said might happen as Enterprise try to bring that aggression, try to track, try to chase, try to push. Oxygen, sit back, let them, and just take the gunfights as they come. There is no rattling this OXG side. They can smell their future in the Six Invitational, Des. They know that they're on the cusp of going through here. It's looking like it's going to be 5-4, and they're going to do a complete defensive rotation. To their minds now, they've just got to keep on walking.
That's exactly it. You know, it's another case where despite the timeout, we've seen Enterprise at least try something, Tim. Which is the important thing I'll say. They've tried to make something work on the attacking side. They have just been shut down. At least they've got closer than in the previous round. And Fisher Guy did, I guess, air quotes, win his 1v1. He managed to get the shield bash down. Just so happened that he died in the second he was about to go for the shot to finish off the player, in which case we'd be looking at a 1v2 right now. Maybe then you bat relays. As things stand, I just don't think even with 45 seconds he's got too much hope of getting through the last couple of players. Not when there is a C4 on side, there's an impact nade, and of course, a lot of experience on this OXG side to know not to overpeak in this 1v3. And sure enough, third round in a row goes to OXG. Full command on their side, Tim. They're back in the lead once more.
Yeah, you get the feeling that Enterprise may be about to kind of limp out of the tournament, and it'd be a real shame for them. They've put up a great fight here against OXG, but it feels like OXG have just found an extra gear. They've just found that little bit of extra speed that is carrying them through this one. Enterprise struggling to make a real impact in the second half of Chalet, and they are starting to be punished for it. And like I said, we don't really want to see this team go out in this way. We've had some good, solid performances from them, and, you know, losing 4 or 5 rounds in a row to go on your way is not how you want it to be.
Unfortunately, Tim, it's probably how it is going to be, unless, again, there's some big transformation that comes in. Some stats here on the right for you from Gomez, who's having a brilliant map so far, up there at 117 EPS on a 9-6 KD. But as we so often say about teams, Tim, it does become a little bit of a team effort, and across the board, we've got many players doing well here. In fact, everyone's positive when you look at the numbers. It shows OXG are really in this for a team effort. It's not taking one player to clutch up big or win out on multi-kills every single round. It's everyone coming together to see this one over the line. 2 rounds to go, and they can call this one done. Just really hope Enterprise can show us a little bit of fight. I would really like to see them go to Fortress here and have a showdown there, but hope is dwindling that we do get to see it.
Okay, then let's have a look at the lineup for Enterprise. What are they bringing along? We've got the Twitch, the Sledge, the Flores, the Maverick, and the Striker. Maverick being a slightly interesting one, given that we're attacking onto Bar and Gaming. I'm just a little bit... I'm not sure what the use case specifically for that. I guess you could open up the line at the bottom of the stairs. You know, you could do that with an ace probably a little bit more safely. Relays is going to be...
That's really the only reason, yeah.
It is. Relays is going to be taking a lot of damage. I'm just not sure I like it. They've got the electrification on there, so I guess you kind of circumvent that. It always just feels like a risky one to be taking the Maverick to do. You know, I completely understand why they want to do it and how, but I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But right now, Relays has taken a lot of damage there, and that's not an ideal start for Enterprise once again. I think entry is definitely something that they could be looking to improve. It's been tough for them on the attack. They've been, I think, 5 versus 3 most rounds, at least 2 out of 3 of them they were. So, yeah, definitely need to change up something there. My
eyes do fall to the 6 frag grenades that Enterprise have got in back pocket. They're obviously looking to get quite literally very explosive throughout the round. Can chew their way through a lot of the utility, like the 6 barbed wires that have been brought along by the side of OXG. Admittedly, both being in back pocket for Gomez, still not quite the best use case for them here. But it will mean they can force players to move here, Enterprise, ideally into sightlines they're holding and pick up a couple of players, actually get themselves a bit of advantage going into one of these rounds rather than always being on the back foot. First snake in the head Skywards here, in fact, both being tossed in. Coming out from Tuhan as he sits here on the window at the top of the stairs. No one obviously anywhere nearby for him right now. Just Gomez is looking to challenge at least a little bit on the Thorn, but even he backs away. It's again a case where Enterprise just feel a little bit uncertain, a bit slow, a bit limp.
Yogger and Grixer are still up on the top floor. They've come under no pressure whatsoever. You know, that's going to be another problem as this round continues. You've got 1:05 left to go, and you've still got 2 on the top floor. If they're able to move into Library, for example, it becomes a problem. That's better. Player manages to pick up one of them, so that leaves Grixer now alone on Library stairs. He's still able to challenge, though. Gomez manages to get the trade, but cut down by Tuhan. But again, the trade game from OXG has been very, very good. They're working as a team brilliantly. 3 versus 2 as it stands at the minute. 40 seconds left to go, and that was an important kill because it takes Grixer off top floor. So now, Enterprise, you don't have all the time in the world, but just take a little breath.
2 C4s to work into, though, here. I mean, admittedly, not worry about the long-range gunfights for now. That's a great down into Fisher, and they know they've got that confirmed too. As Atom steps over, 2 handfuls, 2, and again, Tim, it's happening for the Aussies. They have such a good spot to be in, and it all starts to crumble away. They even miss what looks like a bit of a freebie. It's a 2v3 being 1 out, and Tim, we said we couldn't afford to see those kind of situations lost anymore. Unfortunately, that's what's just happened, and that might be what breaks their spirit and sees them going home after 1 more round.
Yeah, it certainly does look that way. There's 2 opportunities now for OXG to close this out. That's 4 defensive rounds in a row. Enterprise going to have to turn over something serious here, and I'm just not sure they've got it in the tank, Des. Like I said, the last couple of rounds, it looks a little bit like they're kind of running out of steam, and OXG know that this is coming to an end, and they are ruthless in it.
It's looking pretty brutal, Tim. It is looking pretty brutal. And for a map that you thought Enterprise might be able to deliver on so far, they aren't delivering an awful lot. Thought it couldn't get any worse than what we saw back on Cafe, knowing they're coming into that with a 5-loss streak, but it has only gone from bad to worse. This is their last chance here to keep themselves in a SI. Otherwise, unfortunately, it is a good 30-hour trip home. We know that from our Aussie friends, of course, that work in the talent team and tell us it sucks. And sadly, we're making it sooner than you would have liked if they can't get this one done.
Well, that's it. That journey's going to be so much harder, isn't it, knowing that you've gone out at the group stage as well.
I hear all the time from players when they get knocked out. I say, you know, you're staying around to watch the event. And they're just like, no. Like, you can't mentally sit there and watch others play where you should be playing, or like where you could have been playing if you hadn't messed up so much.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of mental torture to hang around for that. So I would be surprised if they stick around. Although saying that, 30-hour trip, maybe you do want to hang around Paris a little bit, see what it's all about.
Whilst you're here, you know, you might as well have a look around.
Just maybe just shield your eyes from the siege that happens.
It's a beautiful city, you know, it's definitely, there's plenty to do. It's definitely worth a look.
All right, well, let's take a look at the round then. Looking on the attacking side, all the eggs are going into the glass basket. They've got 4 smokes on side. They've got the Candelas to eat in there. And, of course, the Dockerby that we've spoken about to the absolute death to this point. Here we go with all that exploding in. Are we going to see a fast hit? No, it's still pretty slow as pretty much everyone's on the roof. Okay. I thought we were going to explode in towards the building there, Tim, and maybe try and collapse onto Atom or Yogg pretty quick, but no. They're completely fine.
Okay, I mean, the Toxic Babe, they've baited that out at least. Yogg used 1 to prevent any push coming in like that after the Candela went off. Grixer is going to get the opener. Relays is there for one of his own, 4 versus 4, but Oxygen again, trade. That is all they have done in the second half of this, and it's been brilliant. 4 versus 2, they have cut them asunder, and it looks like that is going to be that, Des.
They've tried their very best to make use of the smokes, not realising there was a warden on the other side. All it has done has hurt them and give OXG a few freebies to close it up, Tim, and secure their spot in the playoffs here at the Six Invitational.
Yeah, fantastic result for the North American team. It has been a struggle for them to start with. It's understandable. SSG, Secret, you know, big teams, Fluxo W7M that they've had to go up against, and then they get their just desserts on the last day. They managed to get that win against Enterprise, secure their position in the tournament and go through to the next stage. Commiserations, of course, to Enterprise. They've been great competitors here in Paris. They've done everything they can, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough this time.
And to come back to what I was saying during that map, it's kind of carried across the whole series. Every player on OXG went positive throughout that game. Even on entry, +2, +3, +2, +1, +1, +1. They've just done everything they had to in this game to get the result that they've walked away with. Well-deserved and well-fought backup points through it too. Cafe was really, really close, although I think it's fair to say about Chalet, that did feel like a bit more of a one-sided affair.
It's surprising, though, that it did, because we spoke about it coming in. It's not something we usually see OXG do. But I think I was right about what the plan was. Go in on the attack, just do what we can, get what we can, get it out of the way, and then we can close things out on defense. And it worked perfectly for them.
Which now obviously leads us to the spot where there's only one team left still fighting for their spot at the tournament, Tim, and that is FaZe versus G2, which I'm sure we'll cut to once we're done wrapping things up here as well. But we'll see how OXG can do as well. We'll see if they can battle their way in. I've seen a bit of promise in that game. It's going to be a hard fight upwards, but fingers crossed they can keep on fighting through here at SI.
I'm sure that they will be able to find some performances as they continue. We've got our stats there. Gomez coming out on top for Chalet. If we look at the series as a whole, we don't quite have the numbers there, but player was the MVP. Why not?
He was. One out of player up there. He actually had some good moments throughout the game. I'll give that to them. Back on Cafe, they were really aggressive in the early round. They just lost a little bit of that as things worn on. And like I said here, you can look across the entry stats for all of OXG. Every single one positive. Look at the KD. All positive if you kind of allow the Yogg stat line there a little bit as well. On the other side, not such a pretty affair. Only really player offering much on the entry, I feel. But Bappen, alongside him, was one of the stronger players that we saw in this game.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think, great performance from Atom there all around. On Chalet, a lot of the kills that came in, those sort of, when I say key kills, I'm talking about they've got the entry, and then it's that second one, that second kill that comes in where you get that 5v3. A lot of those were Atom. It was him that was like basically piling the pressure onto Enterprise.